Welcome to On the Chain.
So we got Crypto Eddie shared this this discussive interview, and this is a CBDC advisor to Ripple interview, and we kind of went through it and said, hey, you know what, this might have a little bit of merit to talk about. So we dug into the interview here, and the interview showed up on the papers. So you get that papers. So
Typos.
insights into payments and beyond. So it's kind of cool. So we got Anthony Welfare from Ripple on
It's
the
it's
future of money.
Anthony.
It's Anthony.
There's no
What's up,
th in there.
Anthony?
There's no H. It's
There's no
Anthony.
Anthony. It's just
There's no
Anthony.
TH. It's Anthony. What's up,
Anthony.
Anthony? That's how New Yorkers call anybody named
Anthony
Anthony. Is Anthony.
is
What's up, Anthony?
Anthony. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, so just Anthony Welfare from Ripple on the future of money. Now, the one thing that we know is that Ripple is definitely have been on the forefront of the payment space. XRP on the forefront of this new technology, this new economic technology that is moving money all over the world. But here's some key points here, because what does Anthony have to say on the future of money? Now he talks about tokenizing the future of innovation with CBDCs. Now, you know what we think about central bank digital currencies. Now, if Ripple is involved in the central bank digital currency, building it on the XRP ledger, still have some issue with the centralization of it. However, that's one of the premises of what Ripple's rolling out here, and the tokenizing. They want innovation, they want CBDCs, they want stable coins, and we're going to talk about that later because we get a little stable, some XRP, and digital assets. So it gets really interesting, Chip, because here obviously we know Ripple, one of the first companies to talk about the concept of internet of value. Now they get into this whole conversation, what is Ripple? The solution transforming, how the world moves, manages, and tokenizes value. Now, it's interesting, right? Because we think about, Ripple really focused mostly on moving money, right? Business solutions faster, more transparent, more cost effective, solving inefficiencies that have long defined the status quo. And together with partners and the larger developer community, we identify use cases where crypto technology will inspire new business models and create opportunities for more people. That is quite an opening statement, Chip. And they go on with every solution, we're realizing a more sustainable global economy and planet, increasing access to inclusive and scalable financial systems with leveraging carbon neutral blockchain technology. This is how we deliver our mission to build Now, do you think that he was sitting like face to face interview, or they gave him the questions and he took a moment to think through the answer here? Could you respond with an answer like that, that just like so like succinct? It's just like so like spot on, like it's been drafted
And
and
reviewed by the team.
right, and reviewed by the team and the lawyers and the
Lawyered
marketing
up.
team, and you've just had to kind of emblazon it into your brain. So if someone ever asks you, what is the internet of value? What does Ripple do? And all of a sudden you're just like, did it, and this is what you say.
Well, I mean, it's hard to know anymore unless there's video, unless there's an audio of it. And I don't. It sounds to me like one of these interviews where they draft up the questions, they send them over, you send them back sort of filled out, then they go ahead and publish them. But I don't know. I don't know about this one. I don't see anything called out to that it. And who knows? I mean, but again, they're really good, succinct answers. Sometimes these are the best ways to give an interview. Someone hits you up with a question, because every time we interview somebody, they're like, "Can you give us the questions ahead of time?" We're like, "Hell no, we can't." And if we do, we don't ask them anyway. So we're just, I'm joking, but the best thing is Jeff will give a bunch of questions, but then we never ask them because we just go with the flow, and
Hey,
someone will
go
say
with the
something.
flow.
Yeah, you bounce off of that. I mean, we have a general idea what we're going to go into. We don't ever go into an interview just completely blank, but the questions are there just as a primer. And Jeff, one question I had, I want to circle this back to the headline here when they started talking about CBDCs. Now, the thing about CBDCs, okay, yeah, we talked about the programmability of there, and you could technically do all kinds of evil things. But here's my thought. Is it going to be the central banks that are rolling this out? Would it be the government rolling it out? So, will there be a shift, or is it going to be the same status quo that we're accustomed to. In other words, the Federal Reserve is talking about the digital dollar, right? The digital dollar, another centralized, whatever you want to call it. It's a centralized, some kind of a digital version of the dollar, whatever that looks like. But Jeff, do you think that there will be somebody that bucks a trend and says, we want to have a little bit of sovereignty here. We don't want a third party, non-audited, unknown balance sheet party dealing with our digital version, our centralized banker's coin. What do you think?
That's a really, good question because, I think that we're going to see both sides, right? We're going to have one side that is going to fight to maintain this centralized, sovereign asset under this unknown entity because they've gone unchecked for a long time. They've gone without audit for a long time, and this is on a more, it's not just regional here in the U.S. It's on a global scale, and so they like maintaining that power threshold. Now, imagine what they see as a disruptor to the power, right? Imagine right now, if we really put it into some, perspective in the US, we have our congressional representatives that can take information from upcoming votes. And if it's related to a company, they can go and buy shares in said company based on the previous knowledge that they have on what the outcome of the vote's going to be and how it's going to impact that industry and those companies, and they can go then and buy shares in that company and make tons and tons of money. So if we think about that, you have this power struggle and you have those that are in power right now that want to maintain that power, and it's going to be the same thing, Chip, when it is related to the centralized control over currency. Now, why would you, if you were in charge and you had power right now over the currency, why would you want to relinquish that power?
You don't. That's the whole point, Jeff. You don't. That's the whole reason you lead it off with the C for centralization, right? The central part of it. Because let's just let people know, and I don't know who coined this, like who thought this was a good idea. If you think about the way the Fed's going with the digital dollar, you go, oh, the digital dollar, oh, the digital yuan, oh, the digital, Australian dollar, whatever it is, right? You're like, oh, okay, it's a digital version. But when you see the central bank digital currencies, a central bank, CB, central bank. So, it seems almost like it would be incongruent to not have the central bank do that unless you were onto something different. So what else is this
So,
kind
we,
gentleman
to get
saying?
into the tokenizing, what does that mean when we're tokenizing assets? And so he says, we all hear daily references to tokens and tokenization, which is a representation of a digital asset. We all know the original blockchain token, Bitcoin. They kind of gets into that. We're in a world where you can literally tokenize anything from commodities to financial assets, real estate, wine, cars, art, and more. So it's really, I think it's telling, the direction that that things are moving in, and also then telling the direction that this one company is also gravitating to and moving in. Now we know that we have a major power struggle going on with the SEC and Ripple, and when we really look at the bigger picture, there's so much more going on. All right, it's not just it's not just emphasizing, okay, the SEC is going after Ripple because Gary Gensler thinks everything's a security. There's more to it. There's other power players that are involved, and we're seeing all of this right here because we look at the full use case within this space. We look at the potential right now that Ripple is putting on the table that we're starting to see. We talked about, Chip, we talked about yesterday, we talked about the smart contracts. We talked about,
We did.
not just yesterday, but over a period of time, we've talked about the XL S20. We talked about the side chains yesterday. We're talking about the witness. We're talking about all these different things of what's
Can I get a
being rolled
witness,
out.
Jeff?
Okay, you can get a witness. Amen.
Can I get a
You know,
witness?
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.